man is back.
Oh, okay, boys. Oh my gosh, the man got that stuff. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have the leopard. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But look at that, my God.
This is your boy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, That's the True Inferno. Back at it with another Pokemon Unite commentary video gameplay for you guys. And I want to wish everybody a happy holiday. So whatever holiday you celebrate, hopefully it was a good one for you guys. So yeah, we got some news. So a while back, I talked about TikTok and the fact that it may be leaving the United States. Well, that may come to fruition, unfortunately, depending on how you feel about it, within the next 30 days. So I'm about to read this article from the New York Times. No, I'm not subscribed to them. I just happened to find it. And yeah, this was posted about 8 days ago. So check this out. And this is a long article. So I'm gonna look at it. See, there's some paragraphs that is important for me to share with you guys and others that are not. But yeah, let's take a look at this. It's called Supreme Court Fast Tracks TikTok Case in Face of January 19 Deadline. So let's get into it. The Supreme Court agreed on Wednesday. So I'm assuming Wednesday was the 18th. So yeah, because this past Wednesday was Christmas. But moving on to hear TikTok's challenge to a law that could ban its U.S. operations, putting the case on a exceptionally fast track that will culminate in oral arguments next month. And setting aside 2 hours for the argument on January the 10th, the justice signaled that they viewed the questions in the case as extraordinarily critical, pitting the Constitution's protection of free expression against the government's assertions of threats to national security. The court's move came only 2 days after TikTok and ByteDance, its Chinese parent company, filed an emergency application asking the justice to temporarily block the law. In another break with its usual practices, the courts did not ask the government to respond to the application, instead treating it as a petition seeking review and granting it. The law, which passed with wide bipartisan support, calls for ByteDance to sell it to a non-Chinese company or otherwise face a ban in the United States. TikTok has said the law violates the First Amendment, but the Biden administration and lawmakers have countered that given its Chinese ownership, TikTok raised national security concerns because of breadth, B-R-E-A-D-T-H, that's not breadth, but breathe, or I guess breach. I'm not sure they spell that right, but whatever. Of user data available and the risk that the Chinese government could use the app to convert disinformation. The court did not block the law while the case moved forward, which suggested that it may issue a ruling before the January 19th deadline set by the law. That would mean the case would be resolved before President-elect Trump is inaugurated on January the 20th, which is ironic. The law allows, the president to extend the deadline for 90 days in limited circumstances. Trump has sent mixed messages about his support for the app, including by meeting this week with executives of TikTok at his Florida residence, Mar-a-Lago. And if you were to see how that word was said, you would be wondering about, is this real? But moving on. The case will have far-reaching consequences. Since TikTok landed in the United States in 2018, it has become a cultural phenomenon that wields influence over nearly every aspect of American life. Users, especially younger generations, turn to it for news, entertainment, and shopping, lured by its canny recommendation engine, which compiles short videos for users in a main feed. The app can quickly become addictive as it gauges users' interest, down to the number of seconds they spend on each video. The United States represents TikTok's biggest market, and an exit would damage ByteDance's future and put in question the global popularity of the app. In 2020, India, at the time TikTok's biggest market, banned the platform after a conflict with China, making the app go dark for about 200 million users. The court ordered the parties to file simultaneous briefs on December 27th, which is maybe the same day this video dropped, actually, addressing whether the law known formally as the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Control Application Act violates the First Amendment. President Biden signed the law this spring after lawmakers across both sides of the aisle sound the alarm about the risk to national security. They said the Chinese government's oversight of private companies like TikTok will allow it to retrieve sensitive information about Americans or to spread propaganda, though they have not publicly shared evidence that this has occurred. They have also noted that American platforms like Facebook and YouTube are banned in China, and that TikTok itself is not allowed in the country, which is interesting. But okay. TikTok has said that it cannot be sold for legal, technological, and financial reasons, in part because the sale would mostly likely be blocked by Beijing. Excuse me. It has asserted that ByteDance is a majority owned by global investors and that concerns around the app are overblown and unfair. The government has pushed back on TikTok's characterization of the law as a ban, saying that a sale is in fact possible. Just CSRI, really? The last name spelled the same way as the first name? SRI, and then the last name is SRINIVASAN. In an opinion concurring in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit's ruling rejecting TikTok's challenge to the law, was skeptical of the argument that China would block a sale. Congress needed not legislate around another country's preferences to exercise its own powers constitutionally, he wrote. American technology companies like Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, and Google, which owns YouTube, had tried to unseat TikTok, but the app has restrained its foothold. Creators on TikTok have been preparing for a potential loss of the app, though calling on their fans to follow them on Instagram and YouTube. A countdown clock has been circulating amongst internet influencers with dread. TikTok has been trying for years to assert the government's security concerns through a proposal known as Project Texas, which aims to separate sensitive U.S. user data from the rest of the company's operations. But government officials have said the proposal is not sufficient. The Supreme Court has shown keen interest in recent terms and the application of free speech principles to giant technology platforms, though it has stopped short of issuing definitive rulings. It has also wrestled with the application of the First Amendment to foreign speakers, ruling that they are generally without constitutional protection, at least for speech delivered abroad. The court agreed to hear both TikTok's challenges, TikTok versus Garland, number 24656, and a separate one from creators of content on and users of the site Fireball versus Garland, number 24657. A brief file in that second challenge stressed the broad consequences of the court's ruling. And here's the quote. The vast majority of the content that creators and users share on TikTok does not remotely have any geopolitical implications, the brief says. Continue on with the quote. United States residents use the app principally to exchange ideas about daily diversions and activities such as entertainment, healthy, and cooking. End quote. Continue on rather. The platform, of course, also contains social and political content and increasingly is a medium for discussing current events. The brief went on. Continue on with the quote. Indeed, the majority of TikTok users under 30 now use the platform to get news, and almost half use the app specifically to follow politics or political issues. And I'm like, is that true? But whatever, moving on. But that just magnifies the free expression interest at stake here, end quote. In a brief urging the court not to block the laws, Senator Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader, said the law, and I'm quoting here, is entirely consistent with the First Amendment. The right to free speech enshrined in the First Amendment does not apply to a corporate agent of the Chinese Communist Party, he wrote. Continuing on. And even if it does, the Foreign Adversaries Act was the measure and deliberate result of careful legislation that would satisfy all manner of heightened scrutiny, end quote. And that's the end of the article. So what does all this mean? Well, it looking like that TikTok gonna be banned on January the 19th. That's how it's looking right now. I sincerely doubt that this will go to court, but if this does indeed go to court, then it will not go in TikTok favor. So the bottom line is this will not be sold, and I don't see this going to court. Like, the only thing that could potentially have, like, that could save it, believe it or not, is if Trump stopped being wishy-washy and actually pick a side. If he picked a side where he sided with TikTok, then, it could be back. But the problem is, he's gonna be in office on January the 20th. The ban supposed to happen the day before. So I don't know, man. I don't know how this is gonna go, to be honest. Now, me personally, yes, I am on TikTok. I do have a TikTok account, and I do drop content on TikTok from time to time. Now, for me personally, will I lose sleep if TikTok is gone from the United States, rather? No. But at the same time, I kind of don't want it to go because I do know people on TikTok that use it as a business. For example, one of my good friends in Mississippi, he got Mr. Rips, where he sell Pokemon cards on TikTok. He live streamed that stuff on TikTok. Like, he does it, he got a company, rather, pretty much, a team, pretty much, and they does it on other platforms as well. But I want to say, and I could be wrong, I want to say that his bread and butter is on TikTok. I could be wrong in that, but that's where I'm at with it. So it would be suck if, like, not just him, but everybody who basically have a business on TikTok that just happen to be in America would have to give it all up because, what I consider to be old people being concerned about nothing. Old people, that's pretty much what this is. Not like the fact that there's no evidence that, China is using TikTok to steal our information. And like, okay, let's start with that. Like, if there's no information, if there's no evidence of that, then we're like, what's the big deal? Like, are you afraid? Like, let's be honest here. If y'all that worried about China, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say it like this. Like, this may not be a popular decision or like something that a lot of people would not like. But if the United States government is that concerned about China, go to war. Like, go over there and take over the country. Like, if y'all that concerned with China, go over there and do something about it. Go over there and do something about it. Like this whole, because this seemed petty to me for some odd reason. Like, this is not wishy-washy, but it's just petty and like just so weak and like insufficient. And then to say, oh, they worry about TikTok or China used the TikTok to spread propaganda. I'm like, that's not how TikTok works. Like, what are you talking about? like last time I checked, social media is not allowed in China. So how can China use social media to spread propaganda when it's not allowed in China? It may be social correct. I could be wrong in that. But as I read in the article, the likes of Facebook and Instagram are not allowed in China. So, I mean, what are we doing here? So, bottom line is this. I don't like this rule. I don't like this ban. We'll see what happens when January 19th comes around. But at the same time, I don't see anything that can stop it. So, that's where I'm at with that. And I'm going to call it a wrap. So, with all that said, y'all know this is this boy New J Gatsby, a.k.a. New Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all. And I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.